too disappointing. Well, you bet she was there. Plus, she qualified in 3 other events. She finished 3rd in the AA high jump, didn't medal, but competed in the long jump and the 100-meter hurdles. And she was right there cheering for all the 2A pole vaulters in the morning. The 2A finals were Saturday morning and the 1As were in the afternoon. She was cheering for everybody. She was congratulating everybody when it was over. And I talked to the winner, Char Mork from Cambridge Isanti. What a great kid. She's going to the Naval Academy to study aeronautical engineering, and she'll be a pole vaulter, and she wants to be a pilot in the Navy. What a great young lady it was. I enjoyed talking to her, but she was really interesting. And you can go to John's journal again at mshsl.org. I've got some quotes from Char, and she just said, we all know that I'm not the best pole vaulter in the state, but this is the way it worked out, and she was thrilled to have that gold medal. But she went on and on about how Julia Fixon was such an inspiration to her and how great it was to have her there watching and cheering. And also Saturday, Joe Fonbala and Julia Fixon were named the Athletes of the Year by the High School Track and Field Coaches Association. So the male track athlete of the year does what he does, wins gold medals, leads his team to a state title. The female track and field athlete of the year isn't competing in her marquee event. She's gonna be a pole vaulter at Georgia. That's how good she is. She was wearing a Georgia cap, in her non-track gear. But the coolest thing, after the 2A meet was over, there's a couple-hour break, so the fans clear out, and then there's time to get the 1A fans in, and the officials can go get some lunch. We have a tent where coaches and athletes check in when they arrive, and where volunteer workers come and check in, and they get a T-shirt, and they are sent to wherever they're needed, whether it's raking the pits in the long jump and triple jump, or bringing discuses back to the throwers after they throw them. So I'm hanging out in the tent with some of the people from our high school league office, and up walks Julia Fixon. And I thought, did she want to talk to me about something? And no, she wanted to volunteer to help out during the Class 1A girls pole vault later in the day. And that's what she did. She sat at next to the pit, and it's kind of inside baseball with the pole vault here, but not only is the bar goes up, but the stanchions that hold the bar, they can be adjusted forward or backward, the depth that the vaulter wants them. So she was adjusting that on one side, and then we have a big board that shows the height where the pole vault bar is, and she's every time the bar goes up, she's over, changing the numbers on the big sign and just having a great time. And that to me was so, I tweeted a picture of her and I said, how about this for selflessness, and described how the greatest pole vaulter in Minnesota history from a big school volunteered to help out with the small schools. And I'd like to know some of those 1A pole vaulters. I'm sure they know who she is. Maybe some of them didn't recognize her, but I'm sure word got around that, hey, that's Julia Fixon there helping out. That had to be a thrill for some of those kids just to see her in person. And I'll talk a little bit more about her when we wrap this up. We had kind of an emotional moment. Well, I had an emotional moment, but it was a great track meet. It's just such a great little community. Anywhere you go, I think track and field is that way. Everybody cheers for everybody else, and everybody, the kids all congratulate each other. You don't see anything negative. I mean, kids get mad. They might drop a baton and they're mad, but they're mad at themselves. And just a great bunch of coaches and kids. Really, really a good Saturday over there at Hamlin.
Great stuff. Can't wait to hear the end story here. Let's switch now for momentarily to softball champions, though.
Yeah, that was Thursday and Friday. I was down there both days. Was there all day Thursday, and then got there later in the morning Saturday. There's consolation games Friday morning, championship games in all 4 classes Friday afternoon. Like I said, I started Friday at the track meet and headed to Mankato. It's funny, a couple people were asking me. I said, well, I'm going to take off and go to Mankato. A couple of people said, well, you're driving all the way to Mankato? What are you doing that for? And I said, do you know me? Do you know what I do? This is what I do. I get in the Camry and I drive. And I said, and 2 things that are important here. The roads are all paved and my car is air conditioned. This will be the most peaceful part of my day. And it was. And like I said, we had great conditions down there at Caswell Park in North Mankato. They do such a fantastic job of hosting this thing. The crowds are just giant, especially on Friday, because you've got 32 schools represented. Well, more than that, because you got co-ops, but 32 teams. and people, you can bring in lawn chairs and blankets, and there's big trees. You can sit in the shade and cheer for your team, and really, really fun. And like I said, no weather issues, no super long extra inning games. Everything was on schedule pretty much. And your state softball champions for 2019 are Maple Grove in Class 4A, Northfield in Class 3A, Rochester Lourdes in 2A, and in 1A, it's Edgerton Southwest Minnesota Christian. And the 1A game was kind of the hyphen and slash bowl. It's Edgerton Southwest Minnesota Christian, and their opponent was Badger Greenbush Middle River. So we had hyphens and slashes all over, and that's not rare with small schools. But congrats to everybody played down there. It was really fun. I get to see a lot of people at the state tournament. Some of them I know, some of them I don't, but they recognize me, I guess. And it's really, really fun. Just chat with people, and media people from all over the state come and do a great job. So it was really, really a good time down there.
Last week, you and I did a show from the stands at the boys' state tennis tournament. We watched some doubles. How do things wrap up over there?
Yeah, they finished. That's a 4-day tournament because Tuesday and Wednesday are the team tournaments, and we were there on the second day of team tournaments. And Thursday and Friday, singles and doubles. So here's how it went down. Your champions in boys tennis in Class 1A, Mounds Park Academy. In Class 2A, Mounds View. And if you have Mounds in your name, this was a good year for boys tennis. Your state champs in singles, Bjorn Swenson from Mounds View. And 1A, Parker Law from Mounds Park. Again, the Mounds, they're not eating Mounds candy bars. I don't know what's going on here. I'm going to have trouble with some names here in the doubles. In 2A, a pair of guys from Eastview, Surab Tarakanambi and Nisal Lianj. I butchered both of those terribly, but congrats to those guys. And the 1A state championship doubles team, Jeffrey Wan and Brennan Keogh from St. Paul Academy. That was a fun 4 days of tennis over there. Well, at both sites.
Good stuff. It was fun doing that last week. If anybody's interested in just kind of that atmosphere, you can go back and listen to last week's episode. Another week of busy tournaments. This is kind of prime time for you. A lot of tournaments.
Yeah, we're rolling. This is the last big week. We're not done with state tournaments this week, but we'll knock two of them off here. We have state baseball, lacrosse, and golf. So it's baseball, boys and girls lacrosse, boys and girls golf. These are scattered around the state here, at least the central part of the state. So my plan is to go to Becker one day, Jordan the next day for golf. St. Cloud, let's see. So I'll go to Becker. We're taping here on Monday. So Tuesday I'll be in Becker for golf. Wednesday I'll be in Jordan for golf. Thursday I think I'll be in St. Cloud for baseball. Friday back to Jordan for baseball at the Mini Met, the great ballpark down there. And then Saturday, lacrosse state championship games are at Chanhassen. So I'll be running up north quite a bit here, Becker and St. Cloud, and then a couple of dives south to Jordan, and then over to Chanhassen. And then we will wrap the year up, the spring season and the year, June 20th with the 4 baseball championship games at Target Field. And if everybody's excited about the Twins, everybody wants to go see the Twins. You're not going to see the Twins on June 20th, but you're going to get into the ballpark for non-major league prices. You can walk all over the stadium. You can sit right behind home plate. There's going to be room, and it's a great chance to see the ballpark, especially if the weather's fantastic, which we hope it is. And so that's it. We're getting down to the end of the road here, Jim.
Yeah, and by the way, I do recommend. Listen, not everybody can really afford, going to Twins games. They do give you some pretty good deals where you can get in the door, either standing room only or upper deck, and you just wander around the concourse. My wife and I used to do that when we lived downtown. We'd go buy the cheapest tickets, just walk around. But this is another great way to see Target Field, which is one of the great ballparks in America. I've been to all of them. This is a top 5 ballpark. Definitely go check it out. Let's get reasonable. Yep. Let's get to John crying. That's kind of what we've been waiting for.
Okay. I grew emotional at the state track meet. This goes back to Julia Fixon. I've gotten to know her. I know her mom and dad just from watching her pole vault so much. And it's interesting when she kind of flamed out at the section meet and things didn't go her way. That's where her high school pole vaulting career ended. I was there because this is a case where I'm on state record watch. She has held a state record for a couple of years. But one of her goals this year was to clear 14 feet. She'd gone 13:11 something last year. So, and if she had cleared 14 feet, less than 10 high school girls in the country have ever done that. I mean, that's remarkable. So I was there because, hey, she might be able to get 14 feet here. Well, it didn't end up that way. It went south, but that's okay. But her dad's great. Her mom's great. I see him at track meets. I kind of ambled up to the pole vault at the section meet. I'm just kind of standing there. I'm looking at my phone, and she's not even warming up yet. The other kids are making their attempts. And I'm wearing sunglasses, and another guy standing close to me I hadn't really noticed. I wasn't aware of my surrounding. Kind of gives me the elbow in the ribs. Hey, Jim, how are you? Well, it's Jim Fixon, her dad. I didn't recognize him because I wasn't that observant. So we're chatting, and he said, I don't know what the coaches are thinking. She may just clear one height. There's a qualifying standard for state. She may just make one jump, clear that, and that'd be it. But ended up not happening that way. And her mom is like the official team photographer for Mounds View Track. I see her around. Great people. And I just think so much of these kids who do these great things, not so much how great they are at their sport, but how they treat people, how they present themselves. And Julia Fixon is the epitome of that. So I was, after the 2A pole vault was over, this was way before I even knew she was going to volunteer for the 1A pole vault. I found her in the inside of the track, and I'm chatting and how you doing? I didn't know what your state of mind is, when in a case like that. She was just nothing but smiles and giggles, and she was so happy to be there. And she said, hey, it's a learning experience. Things don't go your way in life all the time, whether you like it or not. And you can either, pout about it or learn from it. And then I said, okay, I've got one thing I've got to tell you. I started to say, you are, in my eyes, and I've been doing this for decades, covering high school kids, you're basically the epitome of what this is all about. And I said, it's not, and that has nothing to do with how good you are at your sport. It's how you treat people. The officials rave about you because you're great to everybody. You say thank you. You cheer for the other competitors. And I'm going through this, and I've got sunglasses on, and I don't know if she could see my eyes, but my voice kind of choked up, and she could tell I was growing emotional. So now she's consoling me. She's giving me the hug. Oh, Mr. Millea, that's so nice. And I was really caught off guard by that. I know I take this stuff to heart all the time. We all want to see great things happen, but you see these kids, and she's a college athlete now, and she's going to do great things. She's going to be the most popular kid on that team just because that's her personality. She's going to cheer for all her teammates. But I've told a couple people that story, and I think people who know me well enough that they know how invested in this stuff I am, that I could be brought to tears by I'm thanking her. I'm congratulating her. I'm thanking her. I kind of had the same conversation with Joe Fonbala. I just, congratulated him on what he's done, wished him luck, and said, you're what we need. And no matter what sport it is, and track's unique, it's an individual sport, and every event is different from every other event. It's a real mix, but kids like that just really make your heart soar, Jim. And that's the best thing about my job is seeing these kids compete, getting to know them a little bit on a personal level, not to any great lengths, but yeah, when my eyes started to water and my voice started to sputter, boy, that the old man in me, maybe I'm getting old. That's probably part of it. I'm becoming an emotional old guy, but that's what it means to me. And it just, again, I can't thank these athletes and coaches and officials I get to spend my days with enough. And we're going to have another great week like that here with the rest of the spring tournaments. And it's just I always tell people it's an incredible little world we live in when we deal with prep sports for a living. And I feel very fortunate.
Well, and, as I said, I covered high school sports, and it's got to be more than just who wins the games. It's got to be. And It's more so in preps than at any other level. These are kids who might, they might go off and become sports stars. They might go off and cure cancer. You don't know where they're headed. And they should be treated right. They should be celebrated, and not just for being good at what they do, but especially those who behave the right way, who carry themselves the right way.
Yeah, I was relaying this little story to somebody at the track meet, somebody who's a teacher, and I know real well, not a coach, but a teacher. And she said that young lady, what her life is going to be like. She's, no matter what she does for a living, she's going to be great at it. She's going to be a great coworker, a great employee. She's going to be a great wife. She's going to be a great mom. And I said, that's exactly right. That's the whole end game here in high school sports and activities, to try to help these kids grow